While there is a need for guidance during internet use, it is also a useful and powerful tool applicable in many spheres of life. For instance, the workplace is an open venue for services that the internet can facilitate.
Most of the jobs that I get, the gigs at this point, are either from the trade magazines or online, and primarily online.
I've probably been using the internet for about, I'd say probably about 10 years now. Probably when I was in high school I started using it, and I use it very frequently. More so now, I use it every day, all day long for my job, so very important.
The internet also enhances the learning experience in schools by opening up resources otherwise not available or accessible in the ordinary classroom.
And I mean, when I was teaching, it was all the time. I mean, I belonged to some groups that were, listservs, and we got turned on to a whole bunch of things that could help us. Everything from lesson plans to places, museums where kids could go, things we couldn't bring into the classroom, but and of course it was kids who introduced me in the first place to the computers.
All levels of education can benefit from the internet. Dr. Sue sees it as a valuable mode of communication with her students.
Bulletins to the whole class about things that the whole class needs to know, or students and I can have individual email correspondence with each other. Sometimes they don't have to do it in front of the class, sometimes it can be a personal thing, we can go back and forth. And I always give them my email address, and I've never really discussed this with anyone in my department. I just do it. And you know what, I have never had any trouble. I've never had any student harass me or get nasty to me or anything like that. It's always been fine, and it's been a way of keeping up conversation and keeping up communication when we're away from each other.
And in general, the internet is a treasure trove of information that can open up new worlds to people who wouldn't otherwise have easy access to certain types of material.
In the end, it provides me with the tools that I need to learn about certain information that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. So I think in the end it perhaps makes me more social, in that I can educate myself through the internet, through various news, media sources, and therefore I can hold a better conversation at the end of the day when I hang out with my friends or coworkers, so yes.
One highlight of the internet is its ability to connect people all over the world with before unheard of efficiency and flexibility.
A good many people now are relating more and more to other individuals through the internet. We see now virtual communities replacing the old brick and mortar demographic communities of your neighborhood physically, so that now you could be in the US and have a friend in Bangalore, India, who is thousands of miles away but perhaps has more in common with you as a software designer, and we will now relate increasingly to those people instead of the ones next to us.
You could have someone in a different country you haven't seen in a while, and with an email, it's like the person's right next to you. But otherwise, without the computer, it's like, how are you supposed to keep in touch?
If I want to, meet some friends out at a, out for dinner or something like that, or, we meet up, and sometimes we don't want to pick up the phone and call each other or meet face to face, and maybe the internet is a little easier way to interact with each other.
It just makes, communicating easier and faster.
Connect with people in an easier way than I would have, 15 years ago when you have just a phone or letters.
I think for me, the internet makes me more social. It's certainly given me more opportunities to meet people outside of my regular community. I mean, there's no way that you can have the opportunity to meet everyone as you just walk through your daily life. But when you're logged into a site of people that have common interests, you have the opportunity to meet people who are very different than you, either from a cultural background, a socioeconomic background, and it gives you a forum in which you can connect and then meet externally.
The reality of greater connection between people also impacts less visible aspects of life, such as consumer behavior and how we organize our work lives.
We now can more easily be tracked in terms of our purchases. We could possibly have a harder time avoiding work, given that now through telecommuting you are expected to be online every day and in touch with your boss.
We're also seeing changes in the structure of corporate America, which brings both welcome changes and causes for concern.
And even within the narrow range of telecommuting, you see positives and negatives about the downside being your lack of access to employees or to your boss, the inability to network. But of course the upside might be greater convenience, saving time on wardrobe and commuting costs, perhaps saving a little bit of money on daycare if you can work at home. And so therefore a number of employees are very interested in telecommuting. However, some of the businesses are a little bit concerned about the loss of ability to supervise employees, although on the other hand they do like the savings in office space, and sometimes overall use of resources is much less with telecommuting.
One questionable result of this structural shift is that workaholics no longer have practical boundaries that limit their hours.